Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are doing my January wrap up. So let's first go over a few statistics. Not very many because I'm not the statistics girly. So I read 8 books in the month of January, which is really good for me. I don't normally read that much. Normally I'm lucky if I get 3 to 4 books read. So 8 was, I was killing it. So that is great. So I really hope that continues as the year goes on. Pages read for this month were 2,627. Sorry, my dog is acting crazy because there's a new dog in our neighborhood. All right, that would make my average pages per day 84.74 pages. So about 85 pages per day, which sounds about right. And my average page count per book was 328 pages with an average star rating of a 3.75, which I would say is pretty dang good, considering that I think my last year average of just star rating across the entire year was like a 3. So having a 3.75 at the beginning of the year already is just fantastic. So let's jump right into the book, shall we? Okay, sorry if you saw any shaking there. I don't actually have like a stand that my camera goes on. So I record like on my cat tree that maybe you see in some of like my vlogs, and my cat was like clawing on it, and I was like, no, don't do that right now. So I had to go put her up so she wouldn't continue to claw at that. Speaking of vlogs, that's where I was getting to. So I do have a couple vlogs that covers all of these books, and my vlogs cover my DNFs as well. So if you are interested in hearing more about these books, because I'm not going to deep dive into all of them, please check out those vlogs. They will be linked in the description box below. So let's go ahead and jump right into these books, shall we? So let's go from bad to good. Shall we do that? So the book that got the lowest star rating of a 2 rating this month was Lisa Jewell's Watching You. This was picked for my in-person book club that I'm in, and yeah, it didn't go over very well with anybody at the book club. I think maybe one of the girls liked it, but the rest of us were just like, that was kind of dumb. So I did give this a 2-star rating. This is a thriller, I guess, but I did not find it entirely thrilling. So basically in this, we are following this neighborhood of people who are, for some reason or another, obsessed with this one dude, and I just don't understand the obsession with this man, and I don't think the obsession was written well enough for this story, because if you want people to feel obsessed or feel like the obsession with this character should be a thing, then like you need to make the reader also obsessed with this person, and I just don't think the author did a very good job of doing that in this. And the entire plot of this story had nothing to do with the murder that happened. And that was infuriating. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil the book, but throughout it, you keep getting these police interviews that are about this murder, but you don't know who's dead, who did the killing, you know, when this happened, what happened. You don't know anything about this murder throughout the entire book. And so you're just like, well, who is dead? And all this stuff, like, and I just thought it was really dumb. And I would have rather followed the plot line that was about the murder than what we actually got, because basically this entire book was just based on assumptions and what you see from people in your neighborhood. Like, you don't know them, but you see them off in the distance and they're doing something weird, and what you assume they're doing, or you see somebody with somebody else and you think that they're on a date, or like, I don't know, just bullshit like that. You just assumptions. And what do we say about assumptions? They make an ass out of you and me. So I really didn't like this. I thought it was really stupid. So, I mean, this book is popular. This author is popular. So, you know, obviously I probably have the wrong opinion, but that's just how I feel about it. And so, yeah, that was Watching You by Lisa Jewell. The next book is my 3-star rating, and that is The Heroines by Laura Shepperson. I still just don't know how to say this last name, but so sorry about that. So this is a retelling of the story of Theseus and Phaedra. If you don't know that story, I do think it is kind of needed to know that story before reading this, because I don't think this does such a great job of, like, it kind of just assumes you know a lot of things. I mean, you basically get the story. So so in this, there is sexual assault. That is like one of the main plot lines of this. If you know the story, then you know, because Phaedra is raped by Theseus's son, and there's a lot, and then they basically have a trial to determine if she's telling the truth or not. Woo! But so, yeah. If you liked the movie The Last Duel, which is a movie that I love so much, I think you would like this book. This book is nowhere close to as good as The Last Duel. Now my other cat is attacking my thing. My animals are driving me up the wall. Okay, my animals are driving me fucking crazy. I have 2 dogs and 2 cats, and they all need everything all of the time, and it can be super overwhelming. So The Heroines. I was talking about The Last Duel. If you like The Last Duel, this is pretty much kind of the same storyline as The Last Duel. I think The Last Duel is a million times better than this book. I did give this book 3 stars, but I do think the author did a very good job of making all the points of views very distinct, and you were never confused on which character perspective you were in, because you do have the perspective of Phaedra and a few of the other women in her life that are a part of this story, and all of them kind of talking about their experiences of different abuses they've taken at the hands of men. So that's what this story is about. I thought it was okay. This is nothing just astounding or breathtaking or heart-wrenching or anything like that. So I thought it was fine. It was good, but so if you need a quick, fast read that will, you know, with a somewhat interesting plot line but kind of boring characters, this was good. So that's pretty much where I would leave that. It's out of fine. It's a 3. Next in our rankings is I picked up the wrong book. Okay. I'm filming this on my lunch break from work, and I am just all over the fucking place right now. This is the book I meant to pick up, Skyward Flight and Defiant. So Skyward Flight is a set of novellas within the Skyward series, and Defiant is the last book in that series. I gave both of these 4 stars. I think Defiant is such an excellent series ender and brought up my feelings a lot on the overall series, because I loved the first book, Skyward. Thought the second book was fine, it was good. I really despised the third book, and I really enjoyed all of these novellas, especially the novella Evershore that follows Jorgen. I thought his depiction of anxiety and grief and panic attacks was done extremely well, and I really resonated with that. And then Defiant was just a fantastic series ender to all of this. It brought all of our plot lines back together. It finally got Spencer back with the Skyward Flight, which was freaking awesome. So I really enjoyed these. I thought this was a great end to this series. So if you also read Cytonic and you were just like, I don't know if I want to go on, I don't know if I want to read the last book because Cytonic was just not very good, or I just didn't like it, read Defiant, because I promise you it does stick the landing in this part. But before you read Defiant, if you haven't already read the Skyward Flight novellas, please read these, because they definitely make the story so much better, and you get to follow characters such as FM while she discovers the different slugs and all the different types of slugs that are in this world, and you get to follow Alanique and bringing together the rest of the universe that isn't under the superiority to be with the Earthlings, they're not Earthlings, but with humans to fight against the superiority. I thought that was really, really good. And then also, like I said, you get to follow Jorgen as he deals with coming into a little bit more power and responsibility. And I thought those were all done so, so well. And they're all around 200 pages, so they won't take you very much time. And they're definitely worth reading to make the whole experience of the Skyward series worth it in the end. So I don't know if I said it already, but I did give both of these 4 stars. I had a wonderful time finishing off this series, and I am very interested in reading the continuation series. I don't think it'll follow Spensa anymore, but they did say we would get Skyward Legacies that I'm sure will be written by Jancy Patterson, who wrote the Skyward Flight novellas, and I thought she did an excellent job doing so. All right, and then we got 2 more books to talk about, but you're probably wondering, how did you read 8 books, but we're only talking about 6? Well, I did count each of those Skyward Flight novellas as single books themselves, so that did boost my numbers just a little bit. But you know what? They're all considered novellas, so they all are considered different books, in my opinion. So, hey, sue me, whatever. So, the last thing that I need to talk about is the Dreamblood duology by N.K. Jemisin. The first book being The Killing Moon, and the second book being The Shadowed Sun. Both of these were 5 stars. This is a 5-star duology, and I would not mind at all if she ended up making this into a trilogy, because I do feel like there is storylines within this book that could still be written on, and there's a character in here that I would love to see what happens with her and her newfound freedoms. So in the first book, The Killing Moon, this series is hard to describe because it is very much a character series and is very much a world building series, which is something I love so much. World building is one of my favorite things in the world to read. World, one of my favorite things to read about, and that's a lot of what this focus is. But we are following in this first book 3 different POVs as they try to stop a war from happening from somebody who's maybe a bit unhinged and psychotic. And the magic system in this is so cool. It definitely deals with dream magic. There's a lot of discussion on death and the acceptance of death, and their society really runs on that and is very accepting of it in their everyday lives. And I think that was just done so cool, and I really enjoyed that. The second book, The Shadowed Sun, does follow 3 different POVs than the first book because it's set 10 years after the first book. You do still get sometimes some perspectives from the original book, but they aren't the main focus of this one. And in this one, our 3 POVs are basically starting another war. Well, not all of them are starting another war, but it is about taking back what's yours, and I really enjoyed that. I don't really want to talk about the second one as much because I don't want to spoil anything that happened in the first one. I will say though that in this second one there is a lot of sexual assault in this second one. Done very well. I don't think it's done unnecessarily or horrifically, but it was very hard for me to read because that is definitely something that hits me and makes me extremely uncomfortable. So that was pretty hard for me to read. And this was my 5 stars and the best books I've read so far this year. These are the 8 books that I read in the month of January. Please comment down below letting me know what you read in the month of January. And while you're down there, remember to like and subscribe, and we'll talk soon. Bye!